All right, guys, come on in and have a seat. We're going to work on the SmartBoard. Now, I hope that you guys have been working on your number problems in your number families because this is going to help you guys a lot. Today, we're going to work on two number families. We're going to work on the family 10 and the family 8. So I'm going to call you guys up one at a time by clicking on Mr. Frog here, and he's going to tell your name. And then you're going to come up and you're going to pick a math problem that equals either 10 or 8. And you're going to drop that problem right down into that vortex. Are you ready? All right, let's see who's going to go first. Grace. Okay, Grace, are you ready? Oh, Grace is picking the 4 plus the 4. Where does that go, Grace? Drag it to the right vortex. Good job. Go ahead and click that frog and you can tell the next student who's coming up. Rachel. Okay, Rachel. Rachel's going to pick the 10 minus the 2. You're right. That also equals 8. That's a totally different problem, but they both equaled 8. All right, go ahead and click the frog. All right, she's calling up Peyton. Here we go, Peyton. Pick one problem. 9 plus 1. Oh, 9 plus 1 does not equal 8. Try again. Good job. 9 plus 1 equals 10. Did you maybe think that it was a minus? Yeah. Sometimes that happens. It's okay. Go ahead and go ahead and click the frog and pick the next person. All right, Brienne. She's going to pick 5 plus 5. What's that equal? 10. Good job. Let's go through each classmate until we've used them all, and then we can play again. There's several different ones we can play with different numbers. Okay, guys, now we're going to work on a project. Go ahead and take your seats, and we're going to learn how to do it. So at this point, I'm going to change over to the teacher because to explain it to people I'm just presenting to is a lot different than to the class. I would need a lot longer than a screencast is going to allow me to show them exactly what to do. So I'm going to just give you a quick overview of what we're going to do. We're going to make the same thing they just did, except for it's going to be their own. So I would hand out the materials. We'd talk about the materials. They would need a poster board, which I would have one of the smaller size ones. And then I would let them design their vortex by picking different shapes and different colors. Depending on the amount of time and the behavior of the kids, we could spend a lot of time on it, a little time on it. It's not something that I want them to spend a lot of time on, but it's important that they make it their own. Then we talk about picking a number between more than 0 and less than 12. I talked a little bit with somebody about, well, what if they pick 1? That's going to be really limiting with their math problems, but that's not really true because they could make all subtraction problems. I would hope, and I would kind of scaffold kids to hope that the higher level math kids would pick bigger numbers, but if they didn't, then I guess that would be up to them. We would make sure that we stuck the vortexes on the poster board really well. We might even have them work on the vortexes the day we play the game, and then after lunch come back and finish the poster because you want it stuck on there really good. So next, I would hand out index cards to work on number families. We probably would have already done this a lot by now. So I would put their 2 vortex numbers on there, 1 on each card, and have them just write down as many problems as they can think of that equal that number. So for instance, if the number was 8, they could write 4 plus 4, 5 plus 3, 20 minus 12. They can write whatever they want on there. They could write 108 minus 100, whatever they wanted to be for their numbers. And then once they got those all done, I'd have them pick 5 that they liked the best and put 5 on each of these little blue index card, or I guess they're index cards. They're strips of paper. So they would write 1 on each, and we put a little bit of the teacher tack on them. I would have all the kids double check their problems and make sure they knew what they were doing. So here's an example of what I did. I made a purple vortex and a green vortex. 1 equals 8, 1 equals 10. And then these little blue numbers down here would be the little blue problems, and they can pull them off and stick them into the correct vortex. Now after we did that, we would switch with a friend. This allows the students not only to be teaching each other, but to also be checking their own work. So let's say that they're doing this and they go, they disagree on which one goes where. The maker would have to explain why they put them in that category, and they might be wrong, and that would be okay. It would be a learning experience. We would just hand out, if they were wrong, we would just hand out another little blue paper and have them fix it. That would allow them to really take part in the teaching process. And we know that when kids teach each other, they really learn. So here's another example that I did to make it a little more difficult. The hope would be to kind of pair kids up with kids that were in the ballpark of what they were doing. So if you have some kids that are really advanced, you could even let them use 3 numbers. You could change the numbers. You can make it more difficult this way. I added this piece here, so they would have to make sure that they put the piece that didn't belong into the garbage. And I had one up there, but the picture went in front of it. But so they would, if there was one down here that didn't match, they would put it up here. And that just gets them 3. Or you could do 3 vortexes. You can do a lot of different things with this. The fact that the kids would make it'd be on a poster size thing instead of a small paper. I think it would really get kids involved with this. We could even make some programs using the SmartBoard that they could design the vortexes and the equals, and they could make these little papers here. I like the idea of taking it from the computer to the real world, and then they could go back to the computer again. So that is my lesson for my SmartBoard, and I hope you guys all liked it. It was for first grade, and it's all the addition and subtraction within the first 20 numbers.